A difference a year makes. Prices are coming down for hot holiday gifts like cell phones and toys this morning. We're looking into how inflation is still a factor, because it is, and what prices could look like next year. Joining us now is Brandon Arnold, the Executive Vice President for the National Taxpayers Union. Good morning.
Good morning.
You know, let's start with, I think, something a lot of people are really focused on right now. We're talking about Black Friday sales. And going into Black Friday, we have a list here. Toys are down 3.7%. Computers are down 5.7%. TVs are down 9.4%. There's a whole list of prices that are going down. What does this mean for consumers on one hand, but also retailers when it comes to Black Friday?
I think we are starting to see a positive trend. Inflation has come down across the board. It's still problematic. But as you mentioned, in certain product categories, including a lot of categories that people are going to be buying gifts in, we have seen actually some prices fall. That's really good news for consumers because we need this relief. It's been 2 years plus of insane levels of inflation. So I think we are starting to see that inflation start to break. Fingers crossed here, we have a really good Black Friday, a really good holiday shopping season, and the consumer confidence that we need to have a strong economy, because consumer spending makes up more than 2/3 of our overall economic activity.
You know, just yesterday it was Best Buy. They released their numbers, and they said for the third quarter, reporting sales are down. I think it's something like 9.7%. What is that signaling to us, especially when you look at, you know, this trend of people spending on experiences and not necessarily a TV or even a microwave?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that trend in a broader sense. Over the last month, we saw retail activity decline. So what that means oftentimes, especially in the circumstances today, is retailers feel like they need to be more aggressive to generate those sales. That's good news for consumers, because the way they are aggressive is by discounting items, by, you know, really marking down those items that people are looking to buy for holiday gifts. So that's one of the reasons why I think this will be a much better holiday shopping season than it has been in the past 2 years in terms of consumer discounts. I think people are going to be able to get some great deals. Obviously, those Black Friday ads have already started coming out. I think Black Friday somehow started a week or so earlier than the actual date this year. They're jumping the gun. I'm jumping the gun a little bit too in my holiday sweater. I think that's all fine. I think we're starting to see this consumer activity pick up a bit, which is good news, again, for the economy at large.
You know, but you talk about there are going to be some good deals, obviously, for us going out shopping. But when you think about how much are we going to actually spend, you have the National Retail Federation saying folks are going to spend more. You have Deloitte, both their report also saying people are spending more. But are we spending more because we're paying more, or are people actually really digging into their pockets and spending more stuff on gifts or whatever they're buying for the holiday season?
People are spending a little bit more. What you see sometimes is people shift their behavior because of these Black Friday deals, because they expect that there'll be really good deals around the holidays. So you may need a new sofa in August, but you say, we can live with it for a couple months. Let's just wait until those Black Friday deals kick in. And at that point, we'll be able to get a good discount on that same sofa that we wouldn't be able to get in August. Of course, retailers have changed their behavior a little bit. We have Christmas in July, Black Friday in July. We have Prime Day in the summer now. We have all of these deals that have started to spread across the calendar. So you see that phenomenon a little bit less than you used to, but it still certainly materializes where people shift their behaviors in order to take advantage of Black Friday deals.
You know, we also are looking into next year, 2024. It's knocking on the door right now. And there's speculation about what it could look like in terms of how much we're going to pay for stuff. You have an economist, J.P. Morgan, telling CBS News they expect the price of goods to go down. But then you had that report from the USDA that said food prices could actually jump 2.1%. Now, you get past the holiday season and all these door-busting deals. What can we expect on the other side of 2024 in terms of what we're paying for stuff? What does it look like?
Yeah, I mean, this is an area where I'd certainly urge consumer caution. Just because you can get a good deal doesn't mean you should. You certainly don't want to tap into your savings, max out your credit cards. We're seeing that trend materialize since really the beginning of the pandemic. But heading into the new year, I think we could be looking at rocky economic times. I do think, labor markets have started to loosen a little bit, which means that we could see additional layoffs and economic slowdown heading into next year. So you're going to want to have that cushion in terms of availability of credit, in terms of savings heading into the new year, because it's hard to predict exactly what's going to take place. But based on a lot of the underlying factors, I do think that we could be heading toward tougher economic times in 2024, unfortunately.
But you're not going to say, of course, recession. That's not the word we're using here.
No, I'm not going that far yet. I think that is certainly a possibility, but we need to see what Congress and the president does in terms of fiscal policy. They need to start cutting spending instead of spending more. We need to see what the Fed does. I think based on their recent meeting, we're not probably going to get any rate increases in the near term, which is a good thing. And we could even be looking at some rate cuts heading into the new year. So there's a lot of factors in play right now. Hopefully things will work out and we'll continue to have a pretty strong economy. But there's a lot of work to do, especially when it comes to inflation.
And Brandon, thank you so much for joining us, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You too.